significant research area to discover patterns from various diverse data sets. The fundamental tasks in data mining are classification, clustering, frequent pattern mining, then regression. So these are the basic problems in data mining. If you see the graph data mining, if you see the graph mining, so there we have the frequent subgraph mining, graph indexing, graph clustering are the fundamental problems. So the majority of the data are generating from various kinds of data sources from like social networks, transportation networks, citation networks, and Internet of Things networks. So many real-world applications can be modeled using graph representation, where we denote the vertices as some objects and the edge connections as the relationships among different objects. So if you see the previous literature, there are in traditional mining algorithms there are two fundamental aspects. One is the data locality. That means the data will be stored in a local storage system along with some computing facility. And the homogeneity of the data, that means the data is structured. So massive data sets, which are massive data sets are nothing but the collection of various complex, diverse and longitudinal data sets generated from diverse data sources. So that means the data is unstructured. For example, if you see the real-time data, dynamic data, and protein-protein interaction data and social network data, GPS data, these belongs to the unstructured data. So massive data. So now people are calling as big data. Massive data sets are calling as big data due to their volume, veracity, velocity, the variance and valency, then visualization. So based on 7 aspects, people are calling this one as big data. So that means what is big data? Massive data sets that are beyond the capabilities of traditional data management and analytical methods. To acquire, that means to capture, to store, manage, process, analyze and visualize within an acceptable period of time. So that means once if you have the massive data sets, then how to collect the data, then how to store the data. So like right now nowadays we are storing in HDFS, Hadoop distributed file system. Then how to, once if you store, then how to process the data. So to process the data, we have big data frameworks like Spark, Flink and Hadoop. So we have right now latest, we have the large scale cluster computing frameworks. So once if you to retrieve the data, so we need NoSQL databases. Then after that we will process using graph computing engines like Flink, Spark and Hadoop. Then once we have the computing frameworks, then we need to apply some analytics and analyze the data to visualize the intuitive insights of the data. So main stages in processing massive data sets are data sources, data management, computing frameworks, and data analysis. So if you see the data now, the data is a network data everywhere. If you see transportation data, social network data, then citation networks data. So everything is a network, Internet of Things data. Everything is a network, get connected. So if you see the graph networks, we have the fundamental problems, fundamental tasks where we can apply the some analytics are known as individual behavior, computing the individual behavior, then collective behavior, and computing the similarity behavior of nodes, then abnormal behavior of the nodes, and cascading behavior of the nodes. So if you see the graph level, earlier we are only focusing on the node level. If you see on graph level, so we have the graph, the fundamental problems are graph similarity search, frequent subgraph mining, graph clustering, community detection, and large-scale distributed graph analytics. So in massive data sets, one of the primary aspect of graph-based data mining is to compute the similarity of the node pairs. So applying graph analytics on various kinds of networks provides more information about individual and community nature of the network. So that whenever we have some network, if you apply the graph analytics, then we can know the nature of the individual independent node as well as community behavior of the nodes, group of nodes. So then, so the first, just one second. So here I'm going to present one recursive algorithm for mining the top k node behavior of a bipartite network using structural equivalence. So given a graph, given a graph where V consists of set of IP addresses and product categories, and for each node category, I need to find out the at most k IP address proximities. This is my problem. So that means the existing works employs a method known as top case similar. This employs the brute force approach. That means you will find out what are the different possibilities in a greedy approach. So the existing work finds distinct number of categories and IP nodes and that exist in a network. And for each category, the TOPS finds the single hop neighborhoods based on node neighborhood approach and retrieves k-similar nodes for each category. So the disadvantage is the redundant data has to be removed after reading the entire data set every time. If you want to read for some operation, again you need to remove the duplicates every time. So then then again it will provide only single hop neighborhood information and retrieves k-similar nodes for each category. So redundant data has to be removed after reading the entire data set every time, and the prior knowledge of categories is required, and the time complexity is order of k n square. In the worst case, it will go up to order of n cube, and the space is order of n square. So we have, I mean, this is the work proposed by us, and we propose one algorithm known as recursive approach for top k similar IP addresses, which we will call it as RAFTS algorithm. So in this method, we have employed a method known as method of early associates here, that is called as MEA approach, MEA, method of early associates. Initially, we will collect we worked on bipartite network where we will have the nodes of IP addresses and product categories. Then initially, we will find out different kinds of, we will find out what are the categories and IP addresses. Means the previous approach, existing approach, has to identify categories and product, IP addresses. But in this work, no need to find the separate IP addresses and categories. While scanning, it will automatically find out the IP addresses and categories. So this is method of early associates. So method of early associates. So here we employed a method known as split method. So we employed a method called as split here, and we find out first we will identify the concerned category, and through for a particular category, how many people are accessing through a particular IP address. Category in the sense product category. So suppose somebody is accessing on an e-commerce site, then what kind of products he is watching, he is purchasing. Then what are the top K products and what are the top K IP addresses, and who are the similar users. Means for a particular product category, some people are accessing from different IP addresses, and how you will find out those top K similar IP addresses. That is the problem here. So initially we will find out the neighborhood of each category. Then we will find out for each category we will find out the neighborhoods, that those are nothing but different kinds of IP addresses, and we will allocate all the IP addresses to the corresponding product categories. So like that we will find out a chain of product categories and the corresponding users who are accessing from different IP addresses. So that we will find out in this algorithm. Recursively it will find out. One second. So this is an example. Suppose if my input data is like this. So then, so this is my input data. Initially it will identify category. Suppose some user from a particular IP address is accessing the product category C2. For example, let us say he is buying some computer. So then next user is purchasing another product category. So then finally we will find out k similar IP addresses for a particular category. So means suppose two people are purchasing one single product from different IP addresses, then we will say that both are similar to about that particular category. So here this is for k is equal to 1, 2, 3 cases, and means if k is equal to 1, only one user can access. K is equal to 3, 3 users can access, like that. So this is the split methodology where we have employed this algorithm. Just 1 second, sir. So in the first case, U1 C1 is my U1 C1 is my data. So then that means there is no, initially my data is empty, so there is no category. So that so C2 does not belongs to T. So this is T is nothing but my output. And in this case, we have T is equal to C2 comma U1. So there are two cases in the entire data sets when the category is repeated, when the category is distinct. Suppose here the C2 does not belongs to T, C1 does not belongs to T, C3 does not belongs to T. So that means these three are distinct categories. But C1 belongs to T. That means this is a repeated one. Already somebody accessed C1 and somebody accessed C1 here. So that is why here it is belongs to, and C2 is also belongs to. So initially we used some split method. We will identify the correct location of the particular category, and we will find out the neighbors in the chain of product of categories and IP addresses. So this one means understanding a bit difficult, this algorithm. So but it's very easy. Once if you implement this, it's an easy one. So then, so the advantages of RADS is it eliminates redundant data while reading the data, and prior computation of categories and IP addresses is not required, and time complexity of order of kn is order of kn. So space complexity is order of m edges. So here we have employed known as a split technology where it will take order of n time. So we tested on 4 data sets, web Google data sets and co-author network and Superstore, 2 clickstream data sets. And so the global Superstore and another clickstream data set, where we have the attributes are web pages and so hyperlinks and other co-author, user ID and product categories, IP address and product categories, the clickstream data set. So if you see the running time, so the running time of TOX algorithm is is much faster, is slower than the RADS algorithm. Means RADS is very much faster than the TOX algorithm, and and here in the second data sets, co-author data sets, RADS is superior. The performance of RADS is superior than the TOX algorithm. So then again on another data set, so on this global Superstore data set for k is equal to 10. So the performance of RADS is better than the performance of the TOX algorithm. So when k greater than or equal to some 10,000 and 15,000. Similarly, here also for the clickstream data set, the performance is greater than when k greater than or equal to 15,000 nodes. So here, if you see the memory consumption, the RADS consumes low memory when compared to the TOX algorithm on both the data sets. So here for the second data set, co-author data set also. And so similarly for the third and fourth data sets, it consumes very low memory when compared to the other two TOX algorithm. So that means recursive the algorithm for finding top k similar nodes. So here we are finding top k similar IP addresses for this one. So we have proposed the algorithm which provides better results than the existing algorithm, and this algorithm is useful in analysis of similar accessing behavior of users through different IP addresses about various products to give feedback about users' interests. That means if somebody is purchasing, then what are the top K similar users for this product, and what are the top K products for top K similar IP addresses for all the products. Like that we can find out using this algorithm. Just 1 second, sir. One minute. So let me explain more clearly about this. This algorithm. Sir, am I audible, sir? Okay.
You're audible, sir.
Okay, so thank you. So similarity, in fact, similarity, suppose if you want to find out the similarity between, sir? Okay, similarity between any two nodes can be find out using two ways. One is the network similarity and the second one is the content similarity. So in content similarity, we will use the normal similarity measures like Jacob method, common neighbors, and Pearson coefficient correlation, something. We use the normal measures. But network similarity means we have to read the structural properties of the nodes. Then we will say about the similarity. Suppose if in a class, if somebody is in a class, somebody is taught by different, two branches are there, let us say electronics and computer science, but they are taught by the same professor. Then we will say that the two students are similar about that subject. So like that is called as structural equivalence. So I will skip this one, the definition. So if you see here in this network, so then here V5 and V6 have the same neighbors V1, so that we will say that these two are V5, V6 are structurally equivalent about V1, and for V3, V9 and V8 are structurally equivalent. So for V3 about V3. So that means if you calculate, so we can find out the similarity of distinct nodes, non-connected nodes. If you have the similarity is equal to 1, that means they are structurally equivalent. So otherwise some neighbors are they are having equal, means with low similarity. So then how we will apply these similarity to users? A set of users is said to have similar access behavior about set of product categories if every user shares the same neighbors. If they have if everybody purchases same product, then we will say that they are having similar access behavior. So these are some not that much interesting. So here just let me show the results also. So for top K is equal to 10. So for top K categories, we have the 10 IP addresses, means 10 users, top 10 users who access the home and garden products on an online site are like this. Then again, clothing who purchase it from different IP addresses are like this. So it will show like this. Then again for another data set like this, and these are I explained already. Then visualization. So then the RAFS algorithm, the one advantage with the RAFS algorithm is the existing algorithms only it will give about the information of top K nodes. But this algorithm find out how many product categories are there and how many people are accessed from different locations. So here there are 14, I mean, I think total 14 categories are there, more than 14. So then we have accessories, chairs. These are the different product categories in an e-commerce site in our data set. So these are also, we initially we don't know the labels. We don't know what is there in the data. We don't know accessories. We don't know chairs. The algorithm recursively it will find out accessories is one. It will cluster that one. Then chairs is there. Then photos are. Computers are there, like that. So then these number of people access these products. So are these details, and these are the another data set details. So next one, so then in module 2, so mining top gear category sets for an IP address product network. Suppose I have an IP address, and we have the product categories like automobiles, books, and so on. So then how, in the previous example, we find out top K similar IP addresses, but now we are going to find top K product categories with most similar users in a descending order. So transforming weblog data into a network or web apps is a significant problem in graph data mining. So converting social networks into graphs is another, same thing. So our main perspective is, let us take weblog data and pre-process it, remove the noise and other things, then form into a graphical structure, then apply some mining techniques, graph mining techniques or data mining techniques, then find the user behavior. This is the main objective of the work. This is in a broad perspective. So we have the structural similarity measure. So in structural similarity measure, we have this SIMRank. So where in SIMRank, we need to, in SIMRank, it will recursively compute the average of in neighbors of A comma B. So average of in neighbors of A comma B. These are the I of A is the in neighbors of A, Ij of B is the in neighbors of the node B. So we will take the summation. If initially it will start a baseline a case. If the nodes are equal, its value is 1. Otherwise, its value similarity between A comma B is 0. So we have 3 types of queries when you have given a graph network. Then how you will find out the similarities of the nodes. So this is, an interesting research area in recent literature. So we have 3 cases: single pair query. So that means for a particular given 2 nodes, then how you will find out the similarity in a general graph, then in an undirected graph. Then suppose if I have one particular node and again source of nodes, then how you will find out the similarity between a particular node and each element of the source. This is the second case. And if you have the 2 set of nodes, then find out all pair similarities. This is the third case. So the most of the people, they employed the graph representation like bipartite. Means suppose if there are different kinds of nodes, then we will work out, some nodes are not same, then they will remove the nodes and they will form into bipartite graph. Then again, how they are compressing the bipartite graph, they are using the one mode projection. So one mode projection means, suppose based on the connectivity edges of B1, B2, suppose if you have B1, B2 some common edges, let us say here B1, B2 has A5 common edge. Then combine all the common edges so that you will get one more projection for target nodes. These are called as the target nodes and these are called as the source nodes. So these are the one more projection for the source vertices. Means if you have whatever we have, all the nodes have common edges, then those nodes will form a group here. So these are the group here. Then again here for the source vertices, this is the one more projection for the source vertex. Many people employed this method to find the nature of the user's behavior. But the drawback of this method is there is a loss of information about some nodes, so that there will be a lot of change to find the behavior of the nodes. Whenever there is a loss of node, definitely some connections will be reduced, minimized, so that then it will come down the degree of a particular node. That means less number of users you can identify. That is the disadvantages with method. So here, given a graph network, and we have the we need to find out the top k categories with the most similar users. So that means with maximum similar number of users. So the existing work employs the naive approach, and the order of the, time complexity is order of k n square and space is order of n square. It will give only top k nodes, but does not provide any other information about, previous is different approach and this is the different approach. Does not provide information about top k categories with most similar users. And the redundancy of data is another limitation. So we proposed an algorithm known as NatBean. So it finds distinct categories and users, eliminates redundancy while reading the data, and reduces top k categories with most similar users, and provides information about influential nodes. So this is my algorithm. So a novel algorithm for top k category based on early associates notion. And so these are the procedures. I will explain through an example. It is, here we have employed known as category identifier, store and count method, and user early associates method. And finally, we will find out the top k categories. So these are the procedures, and let us go for an example. Suppose if I have a user U4 accessing from a particular IP address, and one more thing is, in this work, we have assumed only one user is accessing through a particular IP address. But currently, we are working, if suppose there are multiple users are accessing through a particular IP address, like that we have so many IP addresses, then how you can find out the top k categories, that we are working right now. So so then U4 it will show that it will identify the category and it will assign a number. That means it is the first category who accessed for a person user U4, and I have assigned a location C2 for this. I have stored in an array. This is like structure. Then I have assigned a location for the user U4. That means for the category C2, the respected user is U4 and is located as 1. Then stored in another array U4. M1. So then again, next category is C1. So first category is C1. So that second category means it assigns second category 2. Then it will store in the second location of M2. Then again, it will store in. It will assign the user location for U3. U3 is second location. So then in M1 it will assign the like so user. So this is, so then if I have so these three are different categories. C2 is different. C1 means people are accessing different categories, but somebody is if some other is C2 or C1 or C5, then what will happen? That is the next case. So U1 C1 by U C1. So then in that case, the category is already there. No need to assign the category here. Another number for the category. So directly we will allocate this U1 to the location of C1. Initially we have the C1 location is 2, M2 C2, M2 of 2. So here we will allocate the U1 here. So that is why. So U1 second location and U3 second location. So previously U3 means U3 U1 they have accessed the second category. 2 means second category here. So those two users will be allocated in another array. So this is the next case. So like that we have the different two. Just one. Sorry for this one. So there are two cases. When the category is different, then it will assign different location for users, and it will assign to the early associates. Early associates, we mean that people who accessed the a particular category, so the respective users will be associated based on first come first service. So that is the method of early associates here. So this is the, a big example, entire same thing. So here when the category is distinct, we have like this. that means here all these cells are empty. That means category is repeated for the only these five categories. Many users are accessing. That is the difference here. So early associates, these are the early associates for this example. In this example, and here we have the maximum number of users. And if you see the M1 of 2, the corresponding category will come into the next. The corresponding category is C1, and like this. Then among these one, we have these are the top K user. Means C1 is the top K category, and so on. So this is not like normal elements. We have to do using IP addresses and product categories. So these are the top K categories. So that means C1 is the top K category, and C1 is the popular, I mean, more influential than C6. So we have used the time complexity for this algorithm is out of K, near linear time. So, and space is number of edges, order of edges. The same data sets we have employed here. And here the execution time for NatBean is is lower than, is faster than the basic naive approach on both the data sets. For K is